Honorable Alan Chasney, Prime Minister of St. Lucia, the Honorable Philip J. Pierre, Leader of the Opposition, Dame Pearlette Louisy, former Governor General of St. Lucia, Chairperson of the Nobel Laureate Festival Committee, Mrs. Ramona Wynn, Executive Director of the Cultural Development Foundation, Louise Victor, the Executive Director of the Monsignor Patrick Anthony Folk Research Center. Special welcome to some of our cultural icons with us today. We recognize Ms. Joyce O'Geese. We recognize Monsignor Patrick Anthony. We recognize Gregory Piper. I did see a while ago the reigning 2019 Calypso Monarch of St. Lucia, Dennis Ticaro Leo. Calypsonians in the house, artists, brothers and sisters of St. Lucia. It is a beautiful day. It's a beautiful day, and nothing will spoil our day. We are here today to celebrate a short giant, a short St. Lucian giant, a short Caribbean giant, Marilyn Lady Leen Baptiste, and her 30 years of contribution to the development of culture and the arts in St. Lucia and in the Caribbean. Can I ask that we start with a wonderful 30-year round of applause for Marilyn Lady Leen Baptiste. Tremendous. On behalf of St. Lucia, I know the PM is there, but I'm sure he would like to give me that honor to extend a big thank you to you on behalf of all of St. Lucia, and let me be presumptuous, on behalf of all of the Caribbean, for your contribution to the development of our civilization. Brothers and sisters, our Prime Minister has to go. As you know, his work is heavy and much, and so he wants to make a special presentation to Lady Leen, and so we'll invite him to make that special presentation before he leaves. Let us give him a round of applause for making it here this morning, taking time off to be here for this morning.
It was very, very important for me to be here to recognize the achievements of Lady Lynn for 30 years of outstanding contribution to the culture of our country. And what I love about Lady Lynn is that she's such a fighter. And it's a lady that, despite all the adversities that life has thrown your way, that you continue to smile and you continue to persevere, and that your genuine love to your art form has always overcame any kind of auspicious moments you've had, any difficulties you've had. And I always say to my kids, don't do what you think that you are good at, you have to do what you think you love. And I can honestly say that you must love Calypso. And you must love your art form to have done it for so long under some very trying circumstances. And I'm here today to really pay tribute to you for that perseverance and for sharing your talent and making so many people happier. I've had the opportunity of being in the tent when you performed, and it really is an incredible sight to see. And despite that sometimes I'm on the wrong side of the story, I still appreciate it, and I know it comes from a great place, and I hope that we have another 30 years of Lady Lynn. Long live Lady Lynn. Thank you.
But from the time Lady Lynn brought up the idea that she wanted to do this exhibition, we said, let's go with it. Because it is the first time that any Calypsonian, or for the example, many of the artists have actually put on an exhibition. And what it actually was doing was, we are not going to celebrate Lady Leen after she has departed this life. So we are celebrating her while she's still alive. And the interesting thing about it is that when she began to take things out, from baby pictures to table that she stood up when she was a little child, it brought back a lot of things that we have been saying to our artists, that you need to document things. And one of the things about we are always pleased about Lady Leen is that come what may, whatever show she has, once she's called, she has all the music sheets. And that is something that is testimony right here this morning. You would see a number of music sheets because Piper will actually tell you that most of the times when you have the shows, like even the Legacy that is going on now and so on, most of the artists don't have, and he has to rewrite the music and so on. So that is one of the pillars that we are really appreciative for Lady Leen in the sense that she has always been persistent and she has always insisted that she must have a music sheet. She is one, the Prime Minister mentioned that she has stood through thick and thin. But one of the interesting things about Lady Leen too is that Lady Leen is one who is the advocate for ensuring that the artists have a welfare fund. It has not happened yet, but that is one of the crying card of Lady Leen. We must have a welfare fund for the Calypsonians. And I'm very happy that recently an organization was set up by the artists themselves, which is Balance, and I hope that is one of the things that they would take on. Because as you all know, that the tents are really voluntary. People give up their time and so on. And so it is really, really a great pleasure to see so many of you this morning. I know most of those who are invited are here, and that we are pleased, so we know we have at least 87% attendance in terms of those who are invited. And without further ado, but it is a nice welcome to have you here this morning, and we appreciate everything that you have done in supporting Lady Leen. Thank you very much.
So this morning's ceremony, it's actually a formal, official opening of an exhibition on the life and work of Lady Leen. But we make it a celebration of her 30 years of outstanding contribution to the development of culture in St. Lucia. Marilyn Baptiste, known in the entertainment field, specifically Calypso, as Lady Leen, is a St. Lucian by birth and nationality. Lady Leen is a professional Calypsonian and aspiring writer and composer who works full-time in the hotel circuits in St. Lucia, performing calypso, soca, reggae, and some sentimental tunes. A very quiet, unassuming person, it is hard to tell when you meet and speak with her that she can be transformed into such a dynamic performer and singer when on stage. Lynn, as she is affectionately referred to by her friends and fans, made her debut as a Calypsonian in 1990 and was an immediate success, becoming the first female to make it to the finals of the Calypso Monarch competition and gain third place. You can clap for that. That same year, she entered the Queen of the World Calypso competition, which was held in Dominica, placing sixth. She was invited to New York to perform at the pre-Labor Day show. In 1991, she represented St. Lucia at Expo 91 in Antigua, backed up by the band Burning Flames. And following this, in 1992, she was off on tour to St. Martin, Dominica, and back to Antigua, performing with singing Sandra, Denise Plummer, and Natasha Wilson, the cream of Trinidad and Tobago ladies, just to mention a few. In 1993, she was invited to perform with the United Sisters in Trinidad, and afterwards it was off to New York again. Following this was her entrance in the Caribbean Broadcasting Union competition in 1994, where she was a successful finalist, proving her versatility as an all-rounded singer and not just a Calypsonian. That same year, she was back in Dominica with her Calypso tent, the Ambassadors, singing in a clash of tents. The show featured the Dominica Calypso tent Stardom. At that competition, she won the Most Improved Calypsonian title. You can clap for that. In early 1995, she placed second in the St. Lucia Calypso Queen competition, and then followed that up later that year with yet another great performance in the first bi-local competition held here in St. Lucia. She secured fourth place and was the first female Calypsonian in St. Lucia to place in that competition. After that, it was time for the world to hear and know Lady Leen. This she did by establishing and making known her writing abilities. In September 1996, at the National Cultural Center in St. Lucia, she had one of her finest when she was asked to perform alongside one of the legends of Calypso, David Rudder. 1997 saw her consistency moving in the right direction, as she was once again able to secure 4th place in the Calypso Monarch competition in St. Lucia. By November of that year, she was back on the airwaves with her first Christmas CD containing 8 tunes, becoming the first female to release a full-length CD of original Caribbean Christmas music. That year, she was the recipient of the Outstanding Achievement Award for International Women's Day in St. Lucia. Later in May of that year, she was off to St. Croix to perform with Imagination Brass of St. Thomas. So far, she has performed alongside many of the top guns in the Calypso arena, including Singing Sandra, Crazy, John King, Calypso Rose, Red Plastic Bag, Pele, The Invader, Chalk Dust, Black Stallion, David Rudder, Alison Hines, Shadow, etc., and top soca groups as Crossfire and Square One. In 1999, she was one of the 3 Calypsonians selected by the St. Lucia Tourist Board to represent and promote Jam Time July Carnival 1999 in St. Lucia, in New York. In February 2000, she was a nominee for the St. Lucie Par Excellence Award, becoming the first Calypsonian to be nominated. In December 2000, she performed in St. Croix, Dominica, St. Thomas, and Guyana. In 2001, she again made it to the Calypso Monarch Finals, placing 5th. Later that same year, she was off to St. Croix and New York to perform. On January 21st, 2002, she made her country proud when she was honored in Trinidad for her outstanding contribution to the development of women and the arts, particularly Calypso, in the Caribbean and internationally. Later that year, she placed 4th in the Calypso Monarch competition. In 2003, she again made it to the Calypso Monarch Finals in St. Lucia, placing 6th. In February 2004, the top 25 songs for the past 25 years were chosen for St. Lucia's 25th Independence Anniversary celebrations. Her song, Woman in a Match, was one of the songs chosen. This song is always played on radio stations in St. Lucia on International Women's Day on March the 8th. In February 22nd, 2005, she received one of the highest awards in St. Lucia from the Governor General and the government of St. Lucia, the Le Piton Gold Medal, for her meritorious contribution to Calypso and the arts. She also received an award from the staff and students of St. Joseph's Convent, her alma mater. On November 4th, 2006, she celebrated her 16th anniversary with a concert under the patronage of Her Excellency Dame Paulette Louisy, Governor General of St. Lucia. Performing that night was former Calypso Monarch of Trinidad, Singing Sandra, and top female artist of St. Lucia. On February 2nd, 2007, she received an award from the Castries Central MP and the members of the Castries Central Constituency Group for her outstanding contribution to the arts. October 13th, she received an award for the longest performing female Calypsonian in St. Lucia. October the 5th, 2008, she performed in Martinique at Fête Patronale de François. On July 2008, she made the finals of Calypso Monarch and the Groovy Soca Monarch competition. On April 30th, 2010, she celebrated her 20th anniversary concert and was one of the best for 2010. On March 20th, 2011, she received from the University of the West Indies, UWI Barbados, the Institute of Gender and Development Studies, an award for her outstanding contribution to the arts and Calypso, etc. On March the 8th, 2014, she was one of the women who was chosen for a pictorial display at our library in St. Lucia for her contribution to the development of the arts. A powerful woman, a true St. Lucian gem, Marilyn Baptiste, Lady Leen.
Lady Leen, congratulations on this milestone of a journey. I think we can all agree that memory is important. However, memory tends to be subjective according to who recalls that memory. Today, fortunately, we celebrate Lady Leen and this triple-decade milestone, and we have our memories throughout the years and the evidence of how it all evolved. From the little girl who would have not yet known of her great talent, to the woman in a match, to Miss Knife and True, it's chronicled here for you to relive and to immerse yourself. This exhibition is a story of the woman who is relentless in her love for Calypso, for music, and for the art form. A woman who deserves respect. Lady Leen's work would have no doubt been etched in the walls of FRC's shelves at Mount Pleasant, particularly in the pages of Lucian Calypso, an FRC publication on St. Lucian Calypso. Hence, when the request came to support the curating of this exhibition with Lady Leen, we saw this as an excellent opportunity to recollect some of what was lost or what has been lost and what would have not been documented prior. And as Mr. Charles alluded to earlier, when Lady Leen started bringing her collection to our library, to have seen the extent of the number of music sheets that she had. Her costumes, unfortunately, not all of her costumes are here, but the collection that she has is there. And so for us as a research organization, for us as a repository of St. Lucian culture and all that is St. Lucian, we are more than happy to have supported her. And I would also like to say a special thank you to Miss Lynn Bristol, the curator. And today, as we celebrate Lady Leen, let us not only remember her today and tomorrow, which is also her birthday, so happy birthday in advance, but let us pay tribute to her by constantly being able to respect and fall back on what she has left behind in terms of documentation and what she has been able to preserve over the years. So, Lady Leen, congratulations again on behalf of the Folk Research Center, and we look forward to continuing supporting you as you chronicle the rest of your journey with us.
If I could have sung, I would have sung a song of tribute, Woman in a Mask. But since my repertoire of songs is only 2 songs, I only know 2 songs, I won't tell you them today. I only know 2 songs very well, only 2. I'm sure the mayor knows them too. I want to join in congratulating Lady Leen for her contribution to the art form, particularly the art form of Calypso. I think when ladies have the courage to deal with what arguably started as a man's sport, when they have the courage to get involved in it, and do as well as Lady Leen did, she ought to be congratulated. And I'm very pleased to be doing that while she's alive. As I think it was somebody who sang, we're in a dead, a dead heroes society. So we're doing that when she's alive, and I want to thank everyone and congratulate you for doing it, and wish Lady Leen 30 more years. Thank you very much.
Let me say thank you first to the Almighty for having me here after all these years. Thank you, everyone, for being there with me for these 30 years, like my arrangers, Piper, Clarence, my writers. First, Zephyrin Face Calix, the Mighty Pele. Surprisingly, you will not believe Bernard Fanis wrote my song too. Scabby, who's deceased. Keith Miller, who's deceased now. DeFosto is deceased now. I'm here, so I must say thank you to the Lord. I would like to say, when you see this exhibition, for you to have an exhibition, it has to be history. And I kept all these things because what happened is I would travel to Paris to see my family, and I met a sister who I didn't even know and a brother. And it was so emotional and everything. And I sat there and I said, you know something, when I get home, I should do something for me. because nobody's going to do it for me. Even if they try to do it after I'm dead, I will not see it, I will not hear it, I will not know it. So this is how this came about. And I'm very proud that I'm able to do it for you to understand my life. It was ups, downs, good, bad, but I'm a strong woman, and I wouldn't let nothing spoil my day. So, in song, my warm-up song normally in my life is this song, His Eye is on the Sparrow, and I know He watches over me. So, in song, for me to feel it, I will sing my warm-up song for you. Why should I feel discouraged? And why should the shadows come? And why should my heart feel lonely and long for heaven and home? When Jesus is my portion, a constant friend is He, and His eyes is on the sparrow, and I know He watches me. And I sing because I'm happy, and I sing because I am free, and His eyes is on the sparrow, and I know He watches me. Yes, I know He watches me. Thank you. TOT, balance by law. Thank you, everyone, for coming. I must say thank you to my fans, to everyone that has been there from 1990 to now. Albufa is one. Everybody, thank you.
It is my pleasure to declare open